Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and today I want to show you how to make the Easy Beginners cotton summer scarf. This works up pretty quickly and it's a lot of fun if you use the yarn that I'm going to recommend in a minute. But if you haven't already, if you could hit that little subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like to hear future notifications, just hit that little bell. That way it will be entered into your feed. Well, let me show you one more thing. This little scarf can also become a shawl very easily and quickly. And coming from having grown up in Florida for many years, it'd be very hot outside, but freezing cold inside with the air conditioning. And this is just a nice little layer to put over those shoulders if you're like wearing a tank top or something suitable for the summer months. Well, anyway, let me go ahead and show you what you're going to need. For this project, I'm using Stitch Studio by Nicole. It's called Cotton Colors, and let me show you some of the stats on this yarn. And this is also very helpful should this yarn not be available in your area. At least you can see the qualities of it here and probably find a really good substitute. This is a 2 or a fine weight, or sometimes this is called a sport weight. It's 100% cotton. And this skein has approximately 1,093 yards or 1,000 meters. Okay, and this particular color is called gray, blue, tan. And let you take a look at how this color is with this. It's really nice. It's one of those yarns where they just change one or two strands, and doing that, it is very gradual transition to the other colors. And so anyway, and this is kind of cool. They have a little easy pull tag, so we can pull this out, and shows us where to start. You will also need a crochet hook. I'm recommending size G or 6 or 4.00 millimeter, and you're also going to need a yarn needle. And you might need a pair of scissors as well. So we're ready to begin. Okay, now we're ready to start. We're going to begin with a slip knot. Just like that. And we'll give it make sure it's taut against the diameter of the hook there. And we're going to just do a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to join to make a circle, and we're going to do that in the first chain just like this, and pull a loop through and pull a loop through. That's a slip stitch. Now you should have a teeny tiny donut or a Cheerio, as it were, right here. Go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work 9 double crochets right into the center of this little circle. We're not working in the chains specifically, but we're just going right into the center, like into the center of the donut hole. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I am going a little fast, I suppose, if you're a true beginner. If you ever need to slow me down, as I've said on some of my other videos, there's a little icon there that looks like a little gear. If you're watching the left-handed version, it's going to be over here. And all you need to do is hit that, and it'll give you an option as to what speed you'd like this to replay. And if you want to go to half speed or 3/4 of a speed or even 1/4 speed, you could choose that and slow me way down. If I get real boring, you can speed me up using that same icon. Okay, let's see how many stitches we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We want to do one more. 9 double crochets. Now for row 2, we're going to turn, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to crochet in that first double crochet, just working through the top loops. And now we're going to skip the next stitch. And in the next double crochet, we're going to crochet a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, a chain 1, and then another double crochet crocheted in the same space, so it looks like
the V. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next double crochet we're actually going to crochet 2 V stitches, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, that's 1. Now we're going to crochet a chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to do another V stitch in that same place. 1, double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, and we're going to work a V stitch in the next stitch, which is again double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. And we're going to do this one more time. Notice that I'm not chaining in between the V stitches, okay? The V stitch is going to have the chain 1 in between, and then nothing in between the V stitches. Okay, skip the next stitch, and then this last stitch, we're going to crochet another V stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And so now let's just take a look at what we have, because these are the foundation rows, which are pretty important. Okay, so this chain and double crochet kind of makes a V stitch here. So we have 1, 2, 3 V stitches, and then you have the chain 2, and then you have 1, 2, 3 more V stitches on that end. Okay, now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to turn, and we're going to work right in that first double crochet there. Make a double crochet. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is where you're going to be increasing with each row in certain places. Okay, by making that double crochet right here, you have increased on this side. Now we're still not going to skip this. We have the chain 1 space here, and I want you to go ahead and make another V stitch right there. Okay, skip this stitch and this stitch, and we're only going to work in the chain 1 space. Put a V stitch in that chain 1 space there. See, now there's no chain here, so we don't do anything here. Well, we go to the next chain space, and we make a V stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. This might be a little tricky to see at first, but once you get used to seeing it, it'll get a lot easier. Now we've come to the chain 2 space. Now this is the place where we're forming like this V triangle for the shawl, and this is the place where you're going to have to do 2 V stitches each time. The reason I mention it so specifically is it's real easy to just kind of crochet by that, and then you miss the corner, and then you kind of have to go back and reestablish it. So we made the 1 V stitch here. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and put another one in there. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now we're going to the next V stitch, which is right here where that chain 1 is, and the next one is right here. And that brings us to the last one, and we're going to put the last V stitch right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have after 3 rows. Okay, we have our increase here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 V stitches on this side, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 V stitches on the other side. Now it might look a little uneven at the moment, but once we start this next row, we're actually going to be adding a stitch here. So let's go ahead and do this. This is going to be row number 4. Okay, go ahead and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. and then go ahead and make a double crochet right there in the top of that first stitch, and then we work a V-stitch, remember now, in the chain 1 space. Chain 1 and double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. Skip the little space here because there's no chain 1. Double crochet, make sure we go through all the strands. Chain 1, double crochet, and skip this here. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and let's do that again. The next one, next chain 1 space. And that's going to bring us to our chain 2 spot. And you know what to do. We do 2 V-stitches. Well, we do 1 V-stitch rather, and then chain 2, and then do another. Okay, now do be sure that you don't skip any stitches unnecessarily here, because you have the chain 1, then the chain 2, then the chain 1. So just make sure that you don't forget to work in those. So if it has a chain 1, make sure you put a V-stitch in that. And I know I'm sounding very redundant, but yeah, that's just a part of learning. That's how you learn, hearing things again and again. Okay, almost to the end. And as you can imagine, as you add the rows, these rows are going to get longer and longer. And it's going to be really fun to see the colors play out as that happens. Okay, skip this, and then in that last space, work a V stitch. Okay, let's take a look at what we have now. And if you don't like the way this is, right now, you can always spend lots of time, or spend a little bit of time rather, blocking this so that it has a nice triangle look to it. Okay, so your piece should be starting to look like a triangle. If it is not, you might want to give it another try. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're beginning row number 5. And I'm going to do 1 or 2 more rows with you, and then I am going to do a lot more work and then come back and show you what I have after I finish, because what I'm showing you now is what you're going to do for the entire project. And as you get more and more of these rows completed, it looks like a really nice fun lace. Okay, so for row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, double crochet in that very first double crochet space. Make sure that you do that. That's what's going to help you to increase evenly. And then you begin the V stitches. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and again, only in the chain 1 spaces, or in the center of those V's. Okay, and I'll give you the stitch count after this row. It's already increasing quite a bit. Okay, so I just, before the chain 2 corner, which I've come to now, we've gotten the increased stitch plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 V stitches. Now we've come to the chain 2 space, and we're going to work 2 V stitches here. That's 1 V stitch, chain 2, and let's work another V stitch. Okay, and just pause again for that. That's what you work for that chain 2 space. And then we work in those chain 1 space. Remember that you just skip 1 stitch after that chain 2 space for the next V stitch, and then you go back to working the way you normally were. And let's see, next one's here. And then the last one will be between the double crochet and that chain 4 space. Okay, let's go ahead and pause and take a look. If I can get the hook out there, and take a look at what we've just done. Okay, so we have the beginning, the increase right here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if you count this one, 7 V-stitches, the chain 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 V-stitches on that side. So this is what we have so far. Now don't worry about any inconsistencies down along this edge, because when we finish this, we're going to do a perimeter round, add a nice little, border to the finished end down here, and then we're going to have a nice single crochet edging for the part around here, and that will even things up considerably. Okay, so I'll show you one more row, and then I'm going to go work some more. Okay, so this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is row number 6. Chain 4, double crochet in that first double crochet through the loops. Now we're going to make the V-stitches starting in that first chain 1. And then go to that next chain 1 to make a V-stitch. The next chain 1's over here. Again, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, I'm really looking forward to the next color that should be coming up soon. And we should have one more here. Let's just count our V-stitches just to make sure that they are increasing. We have our increase here, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to do the 2 V-stitches in the chain 2 space. This will really give us 8 plus the increase. Go ahead and chain 2 and put another one right there in that chain 2 space. And go ahead and resume with the V-stitch, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in each of those chain 1 spaces. This is going to be a really nice, fun scarf to wear this summer, and I'm really looking forward to finishing this out so I can make use of it. I have a lot of scarves that are made out of wool, but not quite as many out of cotton, so this is kind of nice for the summer. Okay, now I've just got one more to make right here between that last double crochet and that chain 4 space. And let's take a look at what we have here. So it didn't take much time at all to get this, but as the rows are being added, it will take longer and longer, of course. But I'm going to go ahead and start row number 7, and I'm going to just crochet along, just continuing to add here at the beginning of each round, and of course you're adding stitches here with the chain 2 corner. So go ahead and continue that, and I will show you what I have after I complete some more. After working these rows back and forth, let me show you how this beautiful colorway has played out.
Okay, now the long or the flat edge that will go up, either over your back or up around your neck side is approximately 48 inches long. Each side of the triangle that goes down the back, each of these sides measures approximately 40 inches at this stage. Now, if you want to make a much larger shawl and not just a scarf, let me show you. I have plenty of yarn left, which you could do that. I'm actually going to make mine on the smaller side so that I could wear it as a neck scarf or a small shawl for the summertime, because that's just the way I like to roll. So if you wanted to do that, you may just continue on in the pattern that we've already established, and then do what I'm going to show you next after you've reached the size that you would like, which may actually include, using the bulk of this yarn. But from what I see here, though, I may actually have enough yarn for even another scarf, so I'm going to definitely save that for another project. Okay, so now I'm going to give this a simple edging. So to begin, we're going to go ahead and turn and chain one, and just working in that chain one space, we're going to work a single crochet, chain three, and a double crochet. Okay, we're going to skip this double crochet, skip this double crochet, and go to the next chain one space, just like we've been doing. We're going to work a single crochet, chain three, and a double crochet. We're going to do that all the way across. Single crochet, chain three, and a double crochet. Let me show you what this is doing. It just forms a nice little loop edge for the bottom of the scarf. Again, it's very simple, very straightforward, and I think it kind of adds to the original stitches. I didn't want to go with anything too floofy or extravagant to draw attention away from the simplicity of the design. And I believe this is something that is easily attainable for even a very early beginner. There's no reason why beginners have to be stuck on doing the same things over and over again. And certainly beginning crocheters are capable of learning a lot more than what they think, and then what I think a lot of other people think too, because the last thing that I want is a beginning crocheter to get bored with what they're doing, because there's so much to explore and discover in the world of crochet. And if you're looking for more of a challenge, even, I just encourage you to check out some of my other projects. On my channel here, I've got a lot of intermediate projects. Some of them might be a little daunting for maybe a first-year crocheter, but then again, I've had first-year crocheters tell me that they've accomplished a lot just by watching the videos. So definitely get out there and make mistakes, have fun, and learn. That's just all part of the process. Okay, so much for my little pep talk here. So as I've kind of gone on a little bit fast, I just wanted to show you what this looks like. Okay, so I'm going to work this all the way across the bottom, and as I come to the other side, as you can imagine, I'm going to work one of these in each of the row ends, and I'll show you that turn when I get to it. When you get to the point of the scarf, which is where you have that chain two, go ahead and just put one of these little stitches, the single crochet, chain three, and a double crochet. There's no need to really put two. I think if you put two, it's not a problem, but I think it's going to be a little bit disruptive. So it may actually, kind of be a little crowded there. So just do one of these little clusters in that chain two, and then just continue on working each of these clusters in the chain one space. Okay, so go ahead and just finish that until you get to the next corner. Okay, I've finished working the other side, and I've come to this angle here, which is much more severe than the one
that we just finished earlier. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to work, this is actually the corner right there. I'm going to work 2 of these clusters in that chain 3, or is it a chain 4 space? Okay, so go ahead and do 1 cluster here. That'll help us to turn the corner. And then we're going to do another one in that space. Okay, so now from this point on, it should be fairly easy and straightforward, just the way the other side was. For each row end, just work a cluster. So being the single crochet, chain 3, and a double crochet, and then just do that in each row end. Let me do a couple of them here for you, just so that you can see what it should look like. And I believe that's going to be fairly even and consistent with the other side. It's going to be a tad bit closer together, just because that's the way this pattern works, but I think it's going to be fine, and it's going to make give it a lot of consistency. So go ahead and work that all the way across the straight edge. That brings us around to the place of joining. So this is the last space, and since we do have that severe angle like we did the last corner, go ahead and work 2 of these clusters in that chain space. That's 1, and then work 1 more. Okay, now we are simply going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to do that right here to the base of the chain, or actually to the to the base of the chain right there. Go ahead and do a slip stitch, and then I'm going to do a chain. Give it a tug and get the scissors. Make sure you leave a decent size strand here so that we can hide this effectively. Go ahead and give it a little gentle tug there. And so that is done, but we have one more thing yet to do. Okay, before we can effectively be totally done with this project, we need to hide some strands. So go ahead and get your little yarn needle. Now if you find this is too difficult to work with, you may actually be able to use a metal darning needle, which can sometimes be a bit thinner, but I'm going to go ahead and try to use this one. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down, and I'm going to try to show you. I'm going to try to work it underneath these stitches here. I do have the back side facing, but honestly this this shawl scarf can be worn with either side facing. It really is more of a preference at this stage because it is very much reversible. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to run it under a few more stitches, a few more strands right here. And let me do a couple more. I just want to make sure this really is hidden and there's not a lot of friction with this cotton. It's not like using the dishcloth cotton. I mean, this is a much finer, nicer feeling type of cotton. So I'm going to run that under there. I'm going to run it down into some stitches here. I just want to make sure that this does not show up again. Okay, I don't want to see the strand poking out in any way, shape, or form. Although I do need to be careful how I hide this because the color is slightly different, but I think it's close enough to be fine. Now, if in your color scheme the yarn is very, very different, then you may want to just stick to working underneath the trim round. So I'm going to go ahead. That looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and give it a trim very carefully. Make sure I don't cut my stitches, and that stitch is gone. Okay, or not the stitch, but you know what I mean, the strand.
Okay, if you've made it this far, maybe you have gotten to the end of your project. I just wanted to show you some of the nice colors that were produced by the yarn. And you know, perhaps you can find yarn of other brands that do a very similar thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project. Again, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more coming your way. God bless. Bye-bye.